Hello, and welcome back to the Top 100 Horror Movies review series. I'm going based off of the Top 100 Horror Movies as chosen by Fangoria readers. I have the scratch-off poster. I'm not sponsored by Fangoria. I just think it's a cool poster if you like horror movies or you want to get into horror movies or if you have a friend that likes horror movies. I recommend getting it. So yeah, let's just get right into it. Today's movie is Rosemary's Baby from 1968. It's number 17 on the list. It has an 8.0 on IMDb, and a lot of people really like it, so this is going to follow the trend of most of my reviews, because I hated it. So let's just get into the basic spoiler-free story. So after moving to a new apartment, a woman experiences a strange pregnancy. But I will be getting into spoilers, so consider this your spoiler warning. Cool. So the non-spoiler free story is going to be hopefully very short because I either didn't understand it or I did understand it and there wasn't much there. So yeah, a woman and her husband move into a new apartment and they meet the neighbors. It's these two old people who are like, "Oh, you're so lovely. Oh, let's have you over for dinner sometime." And they're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, sure." And then they go over to dinner and they hit it off with the neighbors. And then like a couple days later, they're like, "Okay, let's try for a baby." And so the neighbors come by that night. They're like, "Oh, here, have some chocolate mousse." And so they eat the chocolate mousse, or well, he eats the chocolate mousse, she eats a little bit of it, and is like, this is a weird undertaste to it. And he's like, "Nah, you're tweaking, like, you are full-heartedly out of your mind. There's no undertaste whatsoever. Eat it." So she's like, "Oh, okay, sure," and takes another bite, and then, like, throws the rest of it away when he isn't looking. And then that night, she's, like, dizzy and stuff, and then she passes out on the bed and has this freaking weird dream. Which, earlier in the movie, she had a weird dream, but, like, it didn't really have anything to do with anything. Now she has a weird dream where she's, like, on this boat with, like, a bunch of people, and then she's naked, and then she's not, and then she is, and she's, like, strapped to a bed, and there's, like, a bunch of old people surrounding her, including the neighbors, and then she gets essayed by Satan himself, and then she wakes up, and the husband's like, "So I didn't really want to, like, wait longer for another night, so I just low-key, like, since you were consenting and it was our plan, like, it's fine, but I just went for it." And, like, it was kind of hot in, like, a necrophilia sort of way, which is a freaking weird thing to say in any situation ever. And then nothing happens the rest of the movie. He's an actor, like a stage actor, and so he's up for a part. Someone else gets the part. They go blind, and then they have, like, this friend or something, and then he's like, there's some weird, like, spiritualism going on in this house, and then he goes home and dies, and then throughout the movie, she's figuring out, like, oh, well, sudden blindness can occur through witchcraft spells. So I think the neighbors are a witch, and everyone in the building is a witch, and my husband's also a witch. And then she goes to this doctor that's recommended by the neighbors, and he's like, "Nah, you're fine." And she's, like, having this pain in early pregnancy, and he's like, "Nah, you're fine, it'll pass." And then she stops following what he says, stops following what the neighbors say, and then she feels perfectly fine. And then for some reason she goes back to what the neighbors are saying, and she's like, "Oh, okay, this is weird." And then she's like, "Okay, you're a witch, you're a witch, you're a witch, everyone's a witch." And then she's having the baby, and she's like, okay, no, I'm going back to my old doctor because y'all are witches. And so she goes back to the old doctor, and then the old doctor calls the husband and is like, yo, your wife's freaking out about some witches or something, come pick her up. So they pick her up, take her home, she passes out during childbirth, and then when she wakes up, they're like, oh, the baby didn't make it. That's rough. And then she's like, what? I can't believe it. And they're like, no, it's true. This is just some postpartum hysteria, I believe they called it. She's laying in bed, and then she hears a baby crying from, like, across the hall or something, and she is like, I knew it! So she goes across the hall, storms in, and they're like, what are you doing? You should be in bed. Go back to bed. Go back to sleep. And then she goes over to a baby cradle that's entirely shrouded, and she looks in. We haven't actually seen the baby, but she's like, the baby! What happened to the baby? What's with its eyes? And they're like, oh, it's the father's eyes. And she's like, what? No, my husband has normal eyes. And they're like, we're not talking about your husband. We're talking about Satan himself. Hail Satan. And then that's basically how the movie ends. It's weird. It's dumb. And I didn't enjoy it at all. So the moral of the story is don't trust your neighbors and or don't trust old people. That's what I've learned. So, on a technical level, it was a good movie. The acting was good, writing was good, effects were good. The blood actually looks pretty good, though it is, like, covered in darkness. It's darker, I suppose. Like a darker scene. So, like, it might just be that I couldn't see it as well, but it looked better than, say, like, The Exorcist or something. So yeah, 10 out of 10 on a technical level. There was nothing really bad on a technical level. Content warnings. Oh, I forgot to add the percentage for violence and gore because I was so flabbergasted by this movie. That seems about right. There wasn't much gore in it. So content warnings. There's a lot of nudity, mostly in the first half hour to an hour, I think. No, an hour, because the scene where she gets essayed by Satan himself was, like, at an hour in, I think. But, yeah, so there's nudity in the first hour, but then after that there's no nudity. Of course there is SA, and there are a lot of people who are sensitive to that, and I am one of them. I hate it. Just pointing it out there, I hate it. I hate horror movies, especially, that have it in it. So, like, one of the main reasons I don't like Evil Dead, because there's an SA scene in it. Don't like it. Violence and gore, so in our past few videos, or actually in most of our videos, the editor has been putting in a gore line. Basically 0% to 100%, so Halloween would be considered 0% and Evil Dead would be considered 100%. So I would put this movie probably like 10 to 20%. Honestly, not much outside of just one scene. As far as gore goes, violence... Honestly, there's not much violence in it either. It's mostly, like, psychological. And it's kind of done well. It's done better than Suspiria. But I don't know. Didn't enjoy it. Suffice it to say, this would not make a good first horror movie if you haven't seen a horror movie before. I put this at number 16 on my personal rankings. The full list will be in the description. But I put this at number 16 out of 17, so that is below Hellraiser, but above Evil Dead by a little bit. I just really did not enjoy watching this movie. But anyway, yeah, that's it for the review section. I will now do the scratch-off poster. But yeah, see you in the next one. Okay, today we are scratching off Rosemary's Baby, number 17 on the list. So real quick, let's just go through all the others. We have Halloween 1978, Theme 1982, Exorcist 1973, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1974, Nightmare on Elm Street 1984, Alien 1979, Shining 1980, Scream 1996, Night of the Living Dead 1968, Jaws 1975, Evil Dead 1981, Psycho 1960, Hereditary 2018, Hellraiser 1987, Suspiria 1976, American Werewolf in London 1981, and now we have Rosemary's Baby from 1968. So we have the title, and we have Rosemary. So, yeah. Okay. So we have title, Rosemary, and now we have Rosemary's pregnant stomach that looks like a sun, although it's like a reddish glow, so I think that could also be, it's like Antichrist. But yeah, that's the end of the video. Next video will be Black Christmas. Yeah, thanks for watching.